Welcome back. Well, it is definitely still urban today, and you're with Malaika Nyanzi. Remember, Nyanzi spelled with a double N. You can join our conversation on our social media accounts. You can use Urban Television, I was going to say today, Urban Television for Facebook, then at UrbantvUganda for Twitter. Now, we're starting off. We are going to be talking about bettering your skills for better lives. We're continuing on the conversation about Pakasa Forum from yesterday, and we're going on today. So, we want to encourage that the younger generation use their natural talents, inspirations, passions, and determination to become business leaders and entrepreneurs for tomorrow. So in studio today, please help me welcome the CEO Career Imagination, I keep saying Imagination Program, that's CIP, and his name is Joseph Kasule and Silvia Cusumano, who's an Italian student from the Netherlands. I have that correct? Yes. There's a bit of a confusion, but you're doing your research here in Uganda. Exactly. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning, Malaika.
How are you doing? All right. Well, let's get straight into it. Of course, when I say CIP, CIP Africa, people will be wondering, what is this? What is it all about? So I'll ask you.
CIP, we started off as CIP Uganda. CIP is Career Imagination Program. Our intention is to keep the young people with the necessary skills that are required for them to make themselves better people, that are required for them to make themselves better employable. You know, we look at practical skills, soft skills, but our aim is that, you know, people do something that's actually able to make them do something out of their lives. I mean, we go to schools and, you know, we don't just look at theory and everything, but, you know, we tell them, you know, if you can acquire this practical skill, you can go through this practical skill and, you know, you can earn a living in the future. That is what we do, basically.
Okay, interesting. Well, you're under this program. What is your experience like so far?
Is that I have a very good impression. I'm here to collect data for my thesis, so I want to evaluate what is the impact of the program.
What's your thesis?
My thesis is about unemployment of young people in Uganda, specifically about vocational training. So I take Career Imagination Program as a case study for my broader topic.
Okay, and you've been able to acquire enough research and information.
Yes.
What have you uncovered?
I've collected so far 100 questionnaires, and I'm expecting to collect another 100 questionnaire more. And when I will go back to the Netherlands, I have to analyze the data, and then I will come back here to tell what is the impact of the program.
Ah, interesting. Well, this is a program that is obviously very necessary in Uganda. Unemployment, like she's mentioned, is very high here, and yet we're mostly the youth. What led you to get into this operation?
Well, I went through the education system here, and it was mostly, you know, theory and everything. Some of us had talents, but then no one really came to us and told us that, you know, you can earn a living out of your talent. And then, you know, the practical bits of it, because, you know, sometimes you find yourself doing a job and you're like, you know what, if actually I'd picked up, if I'd pushed on with a particular skill which I had before in school, I could have been a better person, you know. No one really tells you, I mean, you guys in the TV industry, for example, really no one tells you about how many jobs are behind the camera, yeah? So, you know, we go to schools and we teach these kids that, you know what, I mean, you don't just have to look at being a doctor or a lawyer or whatsoever. There's actually a lot more that you can, you know, learn and do, and then, you know, you earn a living from that. So that's why you go to schools and take these practical things.
Interesting. With your experience in the Netherlands, I would presume you've lived in Italy as well, and your experience here in Uganda. What is your experience with the youth, the employment rates, and how it is? And do you feel like it's our fault that we're not having employment, or like because maybe in the Netherlands it's different, maybe in Italy it's different? What is your experience there?
Well, we have a big unemployment rate also in Italy, so but I think here the difference is that students are more focused on academic learning, and they don't pay too much attention to vocational skills, which are crucial, I think, nowadays, because beside your employment, you need another employment here. That's the difference, that if you decide to follow an academic curriculum in the Netherlands or in Europe, you might do it, but here you need something more.
Okay, interesting. So as you sit around at home and you're there wondering why your degree hasn't gotten you anywhere, maybe you should acquire some skills instead of just sitting and waiting for the paperwork that you did, exams. You're very right. We do focus a lot on the theory side of it all, not so much the practical.
If you can let me chip in.
Sure.
I mean, just like you said, I mean, you get your degree and then you sit at home and you're waiting for that job, you know, to come along, and then it doesn't come along. But imagine a situation whereby, yes, you got your degree, but then you had a skill that you acquired while you were younger. Something that you can actually use to earn a living. So that is why, from a very, very young stage, we believe that if you capture these kids from a very young stage, because we're dealing with kids that are about 16 years, at least, to about 23 years. So if they capture these skill sets, it's something they can use for, they can earn a living from that. You don't really have to wait to get that job from the degree, but then you can start with what you acquired as a skill.
Okay,
Yes.
so then I'll ask, skills versus qualifications. What is the first thing you'd encourage an individual to go out? It would be best to have both, yes, I understand, but you can you acquire both at the same time? Actually, you can.
Yes.
You can, but in Uganda it's tricky. But but I would ask, if you were to tell someone, give someone advice, and you were to tell you, this one I'll get qualification, this I'll get more skills, where would you advise someone to go straight? I'm setting it out to the both of you.
Let me. I was reading something yesterday on my LinkedIn, and it's a story about an engineer. So there's a very big engine. There's an engine, and it stopped working, and they bring all these expatriates to try to work it out, and they fail. So they bring a guy who's got 40 years of experience in that, and then he looks at the engine, goes around it, and then he gets his spanner and he taps somewhere, and then all of a sudden the engine is running. So they're asking for his bill, and gives him a bill of $10,000, and they're like, no, that's too much money. Why are you charging us $10,000? It actually, you just tapped with the spanner. So they're asking for an itemized invoice, and then he brings his invoice, and $2 for my spanner, then $9,998 for knowing where to tap. So that is experience. So I would say experience is very, very important. And if you've got enough experience from a very young age, then imagine what you can do, because even at our workplaces, we're always looking for people that are more experienced. Yes.
What would you say?
I think that qualification without skills are not very useful, because you need also soft skill in order to be successful in your career. So they are complementary, I think. You need both, but qualification without skill is not anymore nowadays important, because so many people have the same qualification as you, so you have to stand out, I think.
Okay, you do have a point. Qualification without skill is almost it's just useless, I would say that. But you can have skill without qualification and then get qualification later on.
That's true.
It is very possible. I know very many people who get their job because of what they're able to do, not necessarily. But then the qualification opens the door for you.
But what qualification are we looking at? Are we looking at qualification in terms of academic sense?
Academic sense.
Or qualification in terms of the vocational sense?
It's different?
Yes. Those are two scenarios. I could be, because if you look at the person that is welding, for example, he doesn't really just walk into a welding shop. He's got to learn, and then he gets qualified to actually do that.
You can't just go and weld.
Vocational. That is vocational qualification. And if you look at qualification from the essence of the academic sense, I got a degree and ABCD. That is why we say that you have to have the requisite skills to do that.
Okay.
Personally, I don't really want to rub anyone the wrong way, but there used to be that season when everyone was being CCNA, Cisco, and blah, 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 blah. So many students were actually going to school to learn Cisco, etc. They got the qualifications, but then how many students can actually go onto a computer and do the programming practically? None of them. So that is why we say that, qualification skill set really comes. Skill set and experience comes in
handy. Education. Do you feel like I don't know how far and how deep you've gone into your research here in Uganda, but have you gotten a touch base a little bit with the education system here?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
I read a lot about it.
Yeah. What is your view about it?
I think here there is a very big distinction between vocational skill and academic curriculum. So I think the academic curriculum should involve vocational skill in it. It should become more formal, because as we said, qualification without skill are not enough. So I think they should combine more. Like, I think the Minister of Education should pay more attention in the curriculum to involve vocational skill.
Okay. Where in the Netherlands, are people looked down upon if they do the vocational? Because here in Uganda, it is kind of that way.
That's a big difference. Here, vocational skill are seen as a lower,
Yes.
there is not a big, okay, and
It's not that attractive
consideration,
to
yeah, they're not very considered here. While in the Netherlands, the difference is that when you finish your high school, you can decide if to follow University of Applied Sciences, which is more practical, and or a university curriculum. So you can actually get qualification in another field beside academic curriculum. And that's a big difference. I think here everybody wants to become a lawyer, a doctor, and your family actually foster you to do so. But what CAP is trying to do is to give the students another view, tell them that there is another opportunity in their life beside, become a lawyer, a doctor, and be
I
employed.
do appreciate that, because at the end of the day, not everybody can be a lawyer, not everybody can be a doctor. And the skill set is very important, because not everyone is, I would say, book smart. You know, there's some people who, being more practical, their brains will understand it better. But what are you doing in order for that to become like the norm for us? Because, you know, in Uganda, you know, you say you want to be a plumber, people are going to look at you sideways, you know? But yet that will bring the money in at the end of the day. So what are you doing as CIP to change the mindset of the youth?
Well, our motto is, you know, we go to school, you know, we inspire the young people, first of all. I mean, first of all, we introduce something to them. Everyone has got to remember the first time. I mean, I remember the very first time that I looked at a computer, for example, the first time I used a computer, I thought, oh, wow, I wish I'd actually, you know, got to use a computer before. Then the very first time, you know, the very first time a child looks into a camera, you know, they think that, okay, probably, you know, I can make a living out of this. So we inspire these kids and, you know, we tell them, you know what, this is available, it's out there, it's something that you can use. It is something that you can do for a living. So you show it to them, inspire them, and then you tell them, you know, this is something that can actually be done, and then you follow them up. You know, we organize the holiday program trainings and then all of that. You know, it's just following up. We inspire them, we follow up on them, and you know, tell them this is possible.
Okay,
yes.
That's good. That's pretty good. Do you think that someone without education, vocational or formal, that's a lost cause? Like, that's done. Your life is.
I don't think so, but they really need a skill. They need to learn skill. And
you can only learn this in school?
Absolutely not. Actually, I think you don't learn just in school. That's academic knowledge, but you have a long learning process. And actually, we learn, I think, even more from our daily life than what we learn on books.
So would you then say someone who hasn't gone to school isn't at a loss, per se?
No, I wouldn't say that. As long as they decide to learn a skill.
Yeah.
That's crucial,
As long as they decide to take charge of their lives.
They don't have to waste their life.
Because people, people are not going to school. It's a combination of things. Probably the person did not really have the chance because they did not really have the means. But then if you do not have the means, you also have to have the desire and the willingness to actually go out there and acquire something new. So, I mean, if you do not really have those means, I mean, you're not lost. But if you do not have those means and you're not doing anything about it, then you're lost. Yes.
Okay. Well, putting ourselves to work, getting ready to work, what does that mean to you?
That is a program that, you know, combines the soft skills. We look at entrepreneurial skills, we look at financial skills, we look at people skills. You know, the soft skills that are required to enable someone, you know, go into a workplace and, you know, deliver. I mean, you get so many CVs most of the times from kids, and you know, someone cannot really structure proper CV. So what we do is that, you know, workplaces need particular skill sets. So even those skill sets we teach them. You know, so right now we are with our partner, Brighter Mind, they're doing a good job on that.
Oh, Brighter Mind is doing good.
So we are partnering with them to, you know, to further the soft skills. It's something that we do in CIP also under entrepreneurial and financial skills. So these are skills that you know, that are made to have kids, you know, ready for the workplace. Yes.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool when you think about it. I'd like to know, how easy is it for someone to get a job in Italy or in the Netherlands? Or how hard?
Okay, there is a big difference between Italy and the Netherlands. In Italy, it's quite hard nowadays. That's why an international experience is very important. And in the Netherlands, it's easier, but actually the economic crisis is global. So you need to stand out, and you need to create networks. That's very important, and take all the opportunities.
Okay, the reason I ask that is because it's very difficult to get a job here in Uganda. That is why we're increasingly, encouraging the youth to become entrepreneurs. Now, I wanted to know if it's any better there, because we keep thinking, oh, life is so much rosier outside of here, but it's not the case. But then what are we doing differently? Because we're a third world country, but you're not. But we might have the similar problems. What, in your opinion, is the difference between the unemployed youth here and the unemployed youth maybe in the Netherlands or in Italy?
I think, okay, here people have less opportunities given from the government, and the economy here is worse, of course, than in Europe. So I think people should, the culture maybe is an influence in this, that here people follow a lot what their family wants for them, and it's a collectivistic society, so we are more individualistic and we try to stand out. That's the big difference. You want to make your own success, I think, and you tried very hard, and here there is more social consensus about it. So
that's true. I guess I'm European, huh?
No,
anyway.
If I may chip in, I so much believe in this country. Why? Because I was away for 2 years because I went to study. Then after my studies, I stayed back for 1 more year to acclimatize and try to get a job. And it was much harder. So then I came back here. It took me quite some time to get something formal to do and everything, yes. But then I believe that this country is still virgin, and then there is lots of opportunities for people can actually get from lots of opportunities in this country, in comparison with say any other first world country. Yeah? So people should not really lose hope, in what we do. Maybe just like she says, government should invest more in the young people. There should be better access to credit, credit facilities. There was a youth venture capital before, but I don't think that really kicked off. I don't know how it's being managed right now. There should be more civic education about things that really matter to the youth. That is, and that is what we are really advocating for.
Exactly. But I'll also say we're a bit lazy. We're a bit lazy. Let's even be serious.
I couldn't say that.
because it's comfortable. Uganda has good weather. You can live on 500 shillings a day. Like you're okay. You can stay in your parents' home until you're 30. Like, guys are lazy. Let's just be. You guys are being so nice. Let's just
I'm
be
not
honest.
Uganda, so I cannot say that.
We're lazy. We're starting to become go-getters. We're starting to become.
But also, there are lots of very, very hard-working people.
Yes, I'm not generalizing.
Yes, and then what I think what is really needed is that maybe people do not really know, what to do. No, Malaika.
Come on. No. This is the thing. We all want, like she mentioned, most people want to get the formal education here and be a lawyer and a doctor. No one is actually, let me tell you, a plumber in the United States will make equally, even a little bit more than a nurse. And yet a nurse is paid a lot of money, by the way. You get it? And it's just the mentality.
And then the hours that they put in. It's about putting in the hours.
Hence, lazy. We just want to chill. We want to chill.
My biggest problem here is that people look at the 8 to 5 jobs. And then a person works 8 to 5. Then 8 to 5, 5 on the dot, the person is leaving.
Goodbye. At 5:49,
yes,
5:59.
We need to put in the extra hours, maybe. Yes. And I was also reading something yesterday about him. What do you do after the work hours? I mean, most people, 8 to 5, they go home and they rest. But I mean,
home? Why you lie?
Okay, home or to the
bar. The bar. That's where they are.
Yes. I mean, if you don't really have, after your 5 p.m. job, try to learn a skill. Try to teach yourself something new. You probably wanted to acquire some coding skills when you're younger. You can do that after 5. Don't go to the bar or whatsoever. I mean, some people watching me now in the bar. I see.
You said this.
Yes, but anyway, it's try to.
But that's actually you're right. After your 9 to 5, 8 to 5, go and acquire a different skill.
Yes.
I'm sorry, now I'm thinking I should be doing that as well.
It may not even be a skill really per se, but there is that particular thing that you wanted to do or to achieve. I mean, at the beginning of them, all make resolutions, you know, you want that perfect body and everything, but I mean, after 5, you don't really make effort to go to the gym, you know. So it's about making the effort and putting in the extra hours.
Also being lazy. I just go back. What is your last thought, like you would like to give our young viewers who are watching right now?
Well, I would like to say to believe in themselves and to spend their time efficiently. Yes, to create network also is very important. That's what I'm trying to do for myself.
Okay.
Create networks,
See,
yeah.
you've traveled across waters to come and get information from our sweet dear country that I probably won't even know, and yet I live here. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
What is your last thought for our viewers?
I think one, I mean, we need to people say we're lazy, but I don't really think that we're lazy. Okay, you know, there's a little bit of laxity.
No, there's being dumb and being lazy.
Exactly.
We're lazy. We're not dumb. We're very clever people.
But there is laxity somewhere. Yeah? So, I mean, it's never too late. I mean, it's never too late for you to start. It's never too late for you to be that person that you always wanted to be. So, I mean, every day presents a new opportunity for you to make yourself a better person.
True.
Yes. I was telling her yesterday that when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a chef or something, but then, you know, I couldn't really do it because, you know, my parents told me to do ABCD, and then, you know, but then she told me that, you know, it's never too late. I mean, it's something that you can do, you know, and, you know, I've thought about it, yeah.
And have you done it? Lazy.
I do some cooking.
You're just proving my point for me. I'm not saying this pointing a finger. I'm pointing a finger to myself as well. Like even right now, as I've been speaking to you guys, I'm like, what have I done with my life aside from what I'm doing now? Am I adding to myself for my future self? But I appreciate what you're doing at CIP Africa. That is brilliant, and I really appreciate it.
So maybe if you can let me chip in.
Yeah. We're running out of time, but go ahead.
Yes, we go to secondary schools. We teach these practical skills. We covered about 20 schools so far from 2013. Yes, we're organizing our second holiday camp this September from 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah, at Chitande Primary School. So we're calling upon all the young people to come down there. You know, try to learn something new. There'll be lots of fun activities as well, because we believe that you know, work without play, you know, makes everyone a dull person. But you know, just try to come down there and try to learn something new.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. My last thoughts to you and myself. Let's stop being lazy. Let's go out and make it work. Let's hold our government accountable. Let's hold ourselves accountable, and let's do something about it. Yes? Deal? Deal. Well, we'll go for a very short break. When we come back, Gaetano, what do we have?
We'll be right back.